It's Triple Cut Monday. Look where I am. I'm in Friday's neighborhood. Never got to it on Saturday. I had so much, was behind so much, I couldn't get them all done on Saturday. I couldn't get, I had a little bit of Thursdays and Fridays. And people just randomly contacted me and adding stuff on here and there. So I just couldn't get it all done on Saturday. Everything was still wet, and the yards that I was in was really difficult. I was messing some of them up, and I was like, you know what? I'm just not even gonna bother going in this neighborhood and trying to knock out 5 more on a Saturday afternoon. So, you know, it's Monday, everything's nice and dry now. Everything's great. The only problem is everything is super tall. You know, it's a couple days behind, but all the rain and all these yards that I have anyway in this neighborhood are fertilized. They're treated heavily, so they grow super high, and you know, double cutting wasn't even enough. I had to triple cut most of them. So still not done, got one more to do, all the way down there where those fertilizer guys are. See what I'm saying? We're big on treatments down here, so why am I going to even bother buying all that stuff right now and doing that when everyone else is already doing it? So I'll focus on what they're not doing, which is all of the lawn maintenance other than treating. So, and I'm doing pretty well with that. I'm sure I will get into that eventually, but right now I'm just going to stick to the lawn maintenance, mowing, trimming, mulch, you know, cleaning out the beds, all that kind of regular stuff, and go from there. But yeah, got to get back to work. Another wet rainy day of cutting means lots of deck scraping. Sharpen your blades once a day, maybe. Might have to bring another set of blades with me just so I can swap them out midday. Got a long day. So check out this yard that I just picked up. Right along there, on the other side of those trees, pretty decent amount. Going all the way up back there, it goes all the way behind the house. You got all this. Goes all the way down, you can kind of see where it's lighter in color. That's the neighbor's attempt over there, but all of this. So I just cut it for the first time. I didn't film cutting because it was the first time. I wanted to kind of get, you know, I want to get a feel for it. But this is all, see, it goes all the way back there. So, you know, at first I'm not gonna lie, I was hesitant to even accept this yard. You know, I came out here like I always do and take a look and, you know, give my bid and everything, but I was hesitant to even submit a bid and even take on this yard because I thought it was going to mess up my schedule, because I thought it was going to take me twice as long to do this yard because it's 24,000 square feet. That's more than double the size of my average lawn. So you know, I'm almost charging double the price too, but it only took me an hour and a half to complete all of this, you know, mowing, trimming, a little bit of edging, but you know, not a whole lot because it's, you know, it's more of a natural setting, but you know, trimming around all the trees and everything else, and along the house and all that stuff, corners that the mower couldn't get in, all that kind of stuff, the usual stuff. And this is probably my most profitable yard now, other than the fact that it takes me like 15 minutes to get out here, which I was trying to get away from those yards, which I have now. This is the new one that I have in that scenario, but this is so much more profitable than any of the other yards that I had that took me 15-20 minutes to get to. This yard is, you know, like I said, I'm almost charging double the price of my average yard because it's double the size, but it only takes me like a little bit longer, like a half an hour longer than my average yard, because it's just all grass. You're just cutting, so the mower's doing all the work. So this is where it's a little different, you know. You look at it and you realize there's not as much trimming and edging, so it's not going to take as much time with that, but you are going to be on your mower for a while. So the majority of this yard was just on the mower. You know, I was on it for 49 minutes. So it's definitely and it was fun too, because I was just going back and forth full speed. My walk behind my Velke, it's like made for this kind of yard. Not a whole lot of turns. Not a whole lot of turns necessary, just straight, you know. Just straight shots, back and forth, back and forth. Cut real nice and low. Again, this is different kind of grass. Gotta lower my deck. Again, that floating deck with adjustable pins. Huge. If I had a fixed deck, you know, then that'd be more of a pain to have to change it and then change it back to go to my other yards. But you know, I might advertise in the rest of this neighborhood. There's some other yards, you know, that are the same size or bigger, you know, and then it'll make it a lot more worthwhile me coming out to this street. So coming out 15 minutes would be worth it, because I'd be able to knock out, you know, half a day's worth of work in here and make a ton of profit, because all I'm doing is cutting grass. You know, this is where you start getting into acreage. You know, this is half an acre, you know, 24,000 square feet. That's more than half an acre. So that's good, and it's just of grass. So you're just mowing grass, mowing grass, mowing grass, back and forth, boom, you're done. But you use a lot more gas because your mower's running for a longer time than on the smaller yards where you're just running your walk behind or your zero turn or whatever for, you know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever it takes you to zip through, you know, the average, you know, 8 to 10,000 square foot yard, and then you spend the rest of the time trimming and edging and making everything perfect. You don't spend as much gas on your mowers. But here, when you're on the mower non-stop, it's running full throttle, cutting and everything for 50 minutes, you suck down, you know, a good half a gallon to a gallon of gas. So that's another thing. So your expenses are going to go up on these kind of yards, but you're still going to make out profit-wise, time-wise, you know, by a little bit. I'm not saying it's huge, but it definitely feels good to be more profitable and have a yard that is very stress-free, just relaxing on the mower and letting it do all the work, and I have to spend half of the time trimming and edging on all these other HOA yards. So who knows, might be a start of something new and exciting. It's weeks like this that you really need to make sure you're keeping your blade sharp. You're scraping out your deck every other yard, if not every yard, depending on how much grass and how thick it is. There's a lot of weeds in the grass, and you really have to scrape it. You might have to scrape it out in the middle of the yard because it just gets all gummed up under your deck, and that's not good. You're going to start dropping clumps here and there. So I've got my scraper in my pocket at all times on me, and I finally got my silicone spray here. This is what I use to spray under my deck not after every time I scrape it, but you know, after I like get a good scrape at the end of the day, change the blades and all that, you know, I spray it all on there on the deck, and it helps everything not stick to it. Like most of the stuff just falls right off as I go, unless it's super wet and thick like today and the majority of this week and the end of last week, where the clumps will fall off because it's so slick because of the silicone, but it will still build up, and that'll be in the lawn. So I just get in the habit now of scraping it off you know, every yard or every other yard so it doesn't get dropped off in the middle of someone's yard. But the silicone spray definitely helps it come off real easy. I blow under the deck when I'm done from the yards too, and a lot of it comes out that way. So all those things are just real quick, easy things to keep your deck clean. I can't stand cleaning my deck, so doing these little things make it a lot easier so I don't have to spend a half an hour underneath my deck with nasty, dry, hard as a rock grass all caked up underneath my deck, and I'm just chipping away at it, scraping it and getting these huge chunks off. That's disgusting. That's messing up my cut quality, and it's too much time. So doing it like this so frequently, it's the same thing with sharpening my blades every other day or every day, depending on how much I cut and how wet it is. It's just quicker and easier that way for me, so that's what I do. It's demo day. Looking pretty sweet. Hopefully this will lift my spirits for the week. It's Thursday. It's been a rough week with all this rain. Things are finally starting to dry out a little bit for one day. Demo in the 52-inch Grandstand. So this is the new 2016 Toro Grandstand. It's a 52-inch. My dealer let me demo this one. I was the first one to use it. So it's an awesome mower. I test rode it at the GAE Expo last year, but I didn't get to cut with it. So they let me cut with it all day. I was really behind this week because of all the rain, so I was able to get 11 yards done with this mower. It's very productive. They made a lot of great changes to the 2016 version of the Grandstand. They took the mower off the deck, so now the mower, so the deck raises and lowers without the engine being attached to it. The engine's turned sideways, so it runs a little bit smoother. There's no more hydro lines or anything. No more cables that need to be replaced or hoses. Very low maintenance. No more grease fittings that needed to be done. They're all sealed bearings with dust covers on them. So just very easy and maintenance free. Bigger gas can, goes faster, goes up to 10 miles an hour instead of 8 miles an hour. A lot of much easier access, again with the engine being sideways and some other things that they changed. A lot easier access to get to the belts and some of the other components that you might need to get to, but again a lot less maintenance that you have to deal with. So this is all around a great mower. Just went to my dealer to do some stuff, drop off the demo. I picked up this blue string here. By Oregon. This string is awesome. I used to just use, you know, this stuff. Just the normal X string that steel has, you know. I was just using that stuff, but it's so hard and brittle, and I can't even explain the difference. But the guy at my dealer gave me a handful of this, said to try it out. Someone schooled him on it, and ever since he tried it, he never went back either. And it's awesome. It's so awesome that it was on back order. It just came in. I'm glad I got this giant spool because it's on back order, so I won't have to come back for more, probably for the whole season. I know the last big spool I got of the other line lasted me a whole season into this season, then it ran out, and that's why I came back for more. And I was asking him, I said, you know, what's the difference between, what's up with all these different types of trimmer line? What is the difference? And he said it's you know, trimmer line is trimmer line. I'm like, okay. And then he follows that statement up with, I use Oregon trimmer line, you know, some blue line. Have you heard of that? And I'm like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he showed it to me. He went in his truck and he got it. And he's like, here you go, try this out. He's like, I feel like this is stronger, it lasts longer, it just gives a better cut. And I was like, all right, man, all I can say is exactly what he said. I can confirm everything he said. It doesn't wear down as quickly, doesn't cut off as quickly if you hit a sharp edge or something like that, and it's a beast. For whatever reason, it's just a superior line and I'm going to be using that from now on. I mean, it helps me edge straighter. It doesn't get tangled up in the spool as easily when I'm wrapping it. It's just great. So I'm glad it finally came in. I've been looking forward to this for like a month, and it finally came in.